Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of biology. And of course today we want to continue our study on reproduction. We're looking at reproduction in Paramecium, earthworm, fishes, and amphibians. Okay, also before the end of the class we'll also try and touch on metamorphosis, all right, in insects. All right, so please do not forget that all of these tutorials, all of these episodes, they are brought to you by the O3 Schools app. Okay, we have the JAMB app, we have the WAEC app. So if you are preparing for any O-level exam in Nigeria, WAEC, NECO, GCE, any O-level whatsoever, O3 Schools app is there for you to succeed at once. Okay, so please, we'll talk about the app in a moment. Let us see a past question from the JAMB app. This is a 2020 question, 2020, number 37. Okay, it says here that cats, we're given 4 options. We're given cats, we're given frog, we're given bird, we're given fish. We're not asked, oviparity is the type of fertilization exhibited by which of these organisms? Okay, oviparity. A says IV, B says III, C says II, D says I. Okay, so we'll come back to this question and many more at the end of the class, because the purpose of this video is to teach you. So we believe very strongly that once we have taught you and you have understood, answering question will be the very least of your problem. Okay, that's why we advise you strongly to download the O3 Schools app immediately and start practicing your way to success. What are some of the features of the app? Number one, we have past questions. Past questions on all of the subjects are available right on in the application to make you succeed. What's more, there's a classroom feature that has lecture notes that has been structured according to the JAMB syllabus. Several of you make mistakes of studying, preparing for exam without the syllabus, and that is where your problem starts from. You are supposed to not only study with the syllabus, you are supposed to finish the syllabus, and that is where the classroom comes in. All of those lecture notes are on the app, okay? And then also you can create a study plan on the application in the classroom. Okay, what the study plan does is to crash all of your subjects and your syllabus and prepare a timetable for you so that you can follow it up and finish it on time. Okay, so please do not joke with the application. There's also a question search feature on the app. What the question search helps you to do is to search for question on a particular topic that you have read. Like this question, I searched it out using the question search feature. How did I do that? I went to question search, clicked on it, I clicked on the subject, biology, and then I searched for sexual reproduction in Paramecium, or sexual reproduction in earthworm, or sexual reproduction in fishes. You see questions that JAMB has set from anywhere, that set it from any year. Okay, it will come out so that I can easily be able to conquer questions, kill your fear, and smash your exam. There's a bomber feature called the mock challenge. Okay, so in that mock challenge, all students that are writing exam for this year to come to the application to compete with themselves to win amazing prizes. But of course, if you have sense, you know that the main purpose of the exam is not for you to win prizes. It's for you to gauge how prepared you are per time for the examination. Okay, so the application has everything. And of course, you get used to what JAMB past question in that mock challenge, likely exam questions. You'll be able to what? Even think like an examiner, place yourself like an examiner, and ask yourself questions on possible areas that can come out. And so you'll not even need to visit any revelation hour because you yourself alone, you have studied to show yourself approved. All right. So please, all of this feature and many more that I cannot talk about right now goes for a small activation fee. Okay, check the application for the right activation fee, make the payment, activate your app, and start studying immediately. If you want to download the app for Android, it's available. If you want to download it for iPhone, it's available. If you want to download it on your computer system, it's available. This is our customer care number on WhatsApp. All right, just message this number on WhatsApp, please. On WhatsApp, you request for the link to download it on your laptop. You'll get it done and you'll be good to go. So without wasting time, let us begin with Paramecium. Okay, sexual reproduction in Paramecium. All right, so I have Paramecium. Okay, now for Paramecium, under some certain conditions, they switch from asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction. Take note of that, okay? So Paramecium, under some certain conditions, such as environmental stress, okay? Conditions like environmental stress or even overcrowding, okay? Paramecium can switch okay, can change from asexual reproduction all the way to sexual reproduction. Okay, and this process is known as conjugation. Please take note of that. All right, so the process whereby paramecium changes strictly from asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction is known as conjugation. Okay, so that is that for that. Let me go back again and say that under some certain conditions such as overcrowding and environmental stress, Paramecium changes from asexual reproduction. How do they produce asexually? Through what? Binary fission. Abi? We talked about it now. Yes. Through binary fission. Okay. So what happens is that paramecium will change from asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction. And the process where they do this is known as what? Conjugation. And what happens? Two paramecia will come together. Two paramecia. Only one paramecia cannot do it. Okay, so two paramecia will come together and then they will lie side by side. They will lie side by side. Okay, and then they will fuse together. Then they will fuse. They will fuse together. Okay, this point where they fuse, okay, is known as cytoplasmic bridge. Where they fuse is known as cytoplasmic bridge. Please take note of that. Okay, so please understand that paramecium changes from asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction, all right, in the process known as conjugation, all right. And what makes that to change? Okay, some certain conditions like overcrowding and environmental stress. Okay, and what happens? They switch from binary fission to to sexual reproduction. And what happens is that two paramecia will come together, they will lie side by side, okay, where they fuse, and then they will fuse together. That point where they fuse is known as the cytoplasmic bridge. Now, there are some steps, okay, in this sexual reproduction of paramecium, and I'm going to list them. I'm not going to bother on them too much. I'm just going to throw one or two light on them, okay, so that we'll just get it completely. Okay, so number one, we have pairing. Okay, you know what? Two paramecia have to come together and they will lie side by side and then they will fuse together. So the first stage is called what? Pairing. Okay, after pairing, okay, the next step is meiosis. Meiosis, what happens? Okay, meiosis happens. Then after meiosis happens, the third stage is known as degeneration. Degeneration and mitosis. Okay, and after degeneration and mitosis, what happens next is exchange of nuclei. Therefore, exchange of nuclei. And then the next stage next step after exchange of nuclei is fusion or fertilization. Okay, they will now have fusion or fertilization. Okay, they will now have separation or regeneration. Okay, 6, we have separation or regeneration. Okay, so these are the 6 steps involved in the sexual reproduction of paramecium. Okay, so we already know what happens in pairing. So in pairing, basically what happens is that the two paramecia will come together and lie side by side. Okay, and I told you specifically that the point where they fuse together is known as the cytoplasmic bridge. Then that takes us to meiosis. Okay, and in meiosis, what happens is that the diploid micronucleus undergoes meiosis, and what it gives to us is 4 haploid nuclei. Okay, so that's what happens in the next stage called meiosis. Okay, it undergoes cell division to give us 4 haploid nuclei. And in degeneration and mitosis, what happens is that among these 4 haploid nuclei, 3 out of them will disintegrate. leaving only what? Only one haploid what? Nuclei. Okay, so that's what happens in this degeneration and mitosis. Okay, so in degeneration, among the 4 haploid what nuclei that we have, 3 will disintegrate. Okay, leaving only one. That one that is left will now undergo what? Mitosis. Okay, and once it undergoes mitosis, it will now form what? 2 haploid nuclei. Okay, so among these 2 haploid nuclei, one is stationary, while the other one is what? Is migratory. All right, so that's what happened, or basically what in degeneration and mitosis. So among the 4 haploid nuclei, 3 will what? Will disintegrate, leaving only one. That one will undergo what? Mitosis. And once it undergo mitosis, rather, it will form what? 2 haploid nuclei. Among those 2, one is stationary and one can be what? Migrated. Now that takes us to what? To exchange of nuclei. And what happens in exchange of nuclei? What happens is that each cell will what? Exchange its what? Migratory what? Nucleus. Okay, each cell will exchange its migratory nucleus with the other through the cytoplasmic what? Bridge. Okay, and once that exchange has been done, it now means that what? Each cell now has what? A new haploid nucleus. Okay, each cell now has a new haploid what? Nucleus. And that will now take us to what? To fission and fertilization. And in fertilization, the migratory what? Nuclei will fuse with the stationary what? Nuclei. Okay? The migratory nuclei will fuse with the stationary what? Nuclei, forming a new diploid micronucleus. Forming a new diploid micronucleus. Okay? This one is also called what? The zygotes. The zygote what? Nucleus. Okay, this new diploid micronucleus is also called what? The zygote nucleus. And that will now take us to separation and regeneration. And in separation and regeneration, what happens basically is that the two paramecium, they will separate. They will separate from what? From each other. And then this new diploid micronucleus will now form what? A macronucleus and a micronucleus. Okay, and once this is formed, then each of those cells, each of those paramecium can now go and resume. They can now resume what? Asexual what? Reproduction. Okay, so we know initially that what? That paramecium, okay, they reproduce asexually by binary fission, isn't it? But we are told now that under some certain condition, they can what? Reproduce what? Sexually. That process is known as what? Conjugation. Okay, and after the whole of these processes has been done, what happens is that each paramecium, the parameciums, they will separate from each other. Once they separate from each other, the new diploid micronucleus that have been formed will form a macronucleus and a micronucleus. And then what? They will separate from each other and then they will resume their asexual reproduction. Okay, so this is what basically what happens in in paramecium. Now let us now go to the earthworm. And in earthworm, okay, it's important to know that earthworms basically they are hermaphrodites. Okay, so before we talk about the earthworms, please, we have discovered that several of you do not support us. Okay, you do not want us to grow. Some of you have even sworn that in your family you don't like people progressing. Okay, and it's very, very bad. Very bad. Okay, please support us, let us grow. Okay, how do you do that? Just like the video. This video, as you're watching it right now, just click on that like button. Okay, that hand that looks like this. That is all. And what will help other students do is to find this channel easily. YouTube will be recommending the channel to them, or Facebook will recommend it to them. Okay, if you're watching from Facebook or watching from YouTube, whenever you are watching from, okay, please ensure you click on the like button. It's TikTok, click on the share button. All right, and also do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Subscription is free to this channel, just for you to easily get notified whenever we release a new video. So it's to help you. So why should you not subscribe? All right, so if you have subscribed before, thank you. If you have not, do that right away. Then what's more, so drop comment if you have questions. Okay, you can also say a little thank you. That is all. All right, we're not asking for too much. If you want to support us, you can send us a small support. Our account number is being shown on the screen. Okay, but that is not the major point of this discussion. Okay, you can also click on the share button, copy the link of the video, share to your class group, share to your friends, share to your loved ones, even your junior ones who are in SS1, okay, preparing for what, who want to be science students, start sharing to them, let them start following us. Anyone that told you that they want to become doctors since when they were small, share the link to them, okay? That is that for that. Let's talk about the earthworm. So, like I said, earthworms are what? Are hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodite, they're hermaphroditic. Hermaphrodites. Okay, so they're hermaphroditic. Okay, and by hermaphrodite, it means that what they have both, each individual, it means that each individual earthworm, earthworm has what both the male and female reproductive organ. Okay, that each individual earthworm has the male and the female reproductive organ. However, it is important to note that despite that they have the male and female organ, they cannot reproduce by themselves alone. Cross-fertilization is needed. Cross-fertilization, okay, is also needed for reproduction to occur in earthworms. Are you together? Each earthworm has both male and female reproductive organs. So you may ask, why they not do then give birth to offsprings? Okay, they cannot do that. They need another earthworm to assist in doing that. Okay, so let us quickly see the processes. And the process whereby earthworms are reproduced sexually is known as copulation. Copulation. Please take note. Okay, it is known as copulation. Okay, so now let us see the processes involved. The first stage that is involved in the sexual reproduction of earthworm is copulation itself. Copulation means mating. Copulation means mating. That is copulation. C-O-P-U-L-A-T-I-O-N. It means mating. Okay, so that is the first stage. Okay, that's why I have copulation. Okay, and then the next stage after copulation is cocoon formation. Cocoon formation. And then the next stage after this is fertilization. Fertilization, and then we now have the last stage, which is development. So as usual, let us quickly just run through each of these steps together. Okay, so in copulation is mating. Copulation, which is mating. Okay, so basically what happens is that two earthworms, okay, they lie or they align ventrally. Okay, two earthworms align ventrally. And by ventrally, we mean that they are using their ventral sides. They are lying using their ventral sides. So you can say they are undersides. Okay? Or you can say using their belly. Okay? Facing each other. Okay? So in the first stage, two earthworms, they need to align ventrally in copulation, and they face each other in opposite direction. All right? The earthworms align ventrally, facing each other in opposite direction. Okay? And then now, after doing this, they now attach. They fuse, they attach to each other using by releasing cocoon. Okay, they release cocoon, C-O-C-O-O-N. They attach by using mucus. Mucus that is secreted by the clitellum. This mucus is known as cocoon. Okay, they attach to each other, they fit to each other using the mucus that is secreted by the clitellum. Okay, by the clitellum. Okay, this mucus is known as cocoon. And then sperms are exchanged. Sperms are exchanged through genital pores. Okay, so that is the last stage. in what? In copulation. Okay, so that's what basically happens. Two earthworms are lying ventrally, using their ventral side, their undersides, or their belly by facing each other in opposite direction. Okay, and then the clitellum secretes what we call cocoon. All right, and then spends their exchange using exchange through their genital pores. Now, the next stage, which is the cocoon formation. Of course, the cocoon is secreted by what? By the clitellum. Okay, so after mating, each separates. Each of the earthworm they secrete, not separate. Each of the earthworm they secrete a slimy cocoon. All right. So now, as this cocoon, because it's slimy, the earthworms are already in it. They have lied ventrally. The cocoon has been secreted. The earthworms are inside the cocoon. So they'll be trying to, because it's slimy, they'll be trying to what? To wriggle out. Wriggle. They'll try to what? Wriggle out of what? Of the cocoon. And as it tries to what? To wriggle out, okay, it deposits its own eggs. Okay, it deposits its own egg. Its eggs, okay, and then they receive sperm. Okay, so this is what basically happens in cocoon formation. So the cocoon is just to work for them to be able to shake their body and release the deposit of this egg and the sperm. Okay, and after then that takes us to fertilization. And what happens in fertilization? Okay, first of all, you need to know that in earthworm. So we are discussing about earthworm, please. In earthworm, that fertilization is external. Fertilization is external. Okay, so fertilization happens outside the body of the earthworm, inside the cocoon. Okay, it happens in the cocoon. No, they are releasing the egg and the sperm in the cocoon itself. So fertilization is it's not internal, it is external. And after this fertilization, the zygote develops in the cocoon. The zygote develops in the cocoon itself. And then that will take us to to development. Now, after a few weeks, earthworms emerge from this fertilization, from this fusion in the cocoon. Okay, they emerge after a few weeks in the cocoon itself. Now, for earthworm, there's no larval stage. There's no larval stage. Okay, it is a direct development. It's direct development that happens. Okay, so that is that for the earthworm. So now let's talk about fishes and amphibians. Fishes and amphibians. So please ensure you like this video, ensure you subscribe to this channel, and ensure that you keep sharing so that your friends and loved ones can see the video, learn and succeed. Fishes and amphibians. Now, for fishes and amphibians, it is important to know that most fishes, you know what fishes are, right? Okay, you know amphibians. Amphibians live on both land and water. Okay, and for both fishes and amphibians, they usually go their separate way. Okay, after mating. After mating, okay, they go their separate way. So once they mate, they don't go. In fact, that's why most times you I don't know if your biology teacher taught you or told you, we told that fertilization in the or reproduction rather in fishes and amphibians is a very wasteful process. Okay, it's a wasteful process because a lot of gametes, okay, are produced, but very few develop. Okay, because of what? Because of that external fertilization. So in fishes and amphibians, after mating, they go their separate ways. But what happens basically in fishes is that fishes, they lay numerous eggs. Fishes, they lay numerous eggs. Okay, but it's important to know that each of these eggs has adequate supply of yolk. Okay, they have adequate supply of yolk. All right, and because they have this adequate supply of yolk, they can nourish their embryo. They can nourish they are what? They are embryo. Okay, and of course, gaseous exchange occurs between what? The embryo. Okay, between what? The embryo and the what? And the surrounding. All right, and nitrogenous wastes are also what? Excreted. Okay, by what? By diffusion from the what? From the embryo. Okay, please note. Okay, that what? That nitrogenous waste is what? Usually what? Excreted from the embryo by a process known as what? Diffusion. All right, so that is that for what? For fishes. Okay, they lay numerous eggs, and of course, after they mate, they what? They go their separate ways. Okay, that's in fishes. Okay, and the eggs that they lay has adequate supply of yolk, which is used to what? To nourish their embryo. Okay, and of course, gaseous exchange occurs well between the embryo and the surrounding, and they can also what? Get rid of nitrogenous waste from the embryo through a process known as diffusion. Also, amphibians also they lay numerous small eggs. They lay many small eggs, very small eggs, and of course, the difference between amphibians and fishes is that in amphibians, they do not have what? Adequate supply of yolk. Okay, they no get adequate supply of what? Of yolk, unlike what? Like the fishes. So their egg is characterized, okay, by small amount of yolk, small amount of yolk. Okay, so that is that for reproduction in what? In fishes and amphibians. So let us quickly also look at reproduction in reptiles. Okay, in birds. Okay, in birds and reptiles. Reproduction in birds, reptiles, and mammals. Production in birds. So please ensure you like this video. Okay, like, subscribe, share. Download your O3 Schools app. Start preparing for your exam. Okay, let's talk about reptiles. Okay, let's talk about what? Birds and mammals. Okay, please. Okay, now remind me now. Okay, but we'll talk about metamorphosis. Okay, in insects. Okay, we'll talk about that. Now, for reptiles, birds, and mammals, they carry out internal fertilization. Okay, internal fertilizations. Okay, basically for birds and reptiles, what happens mostly is that after fertilization, they lay their eggs on dry land. Okay, they lay their eggs on dry lands. Okay, and the eggs that they lay, they are referred to as amniote eggs. Okay, they are referred to as amniote eggs. Okay, and basically the eggs, they possess a shell. Okay, they possess also a shell membrane and an embryonic membrane. Okay, so these amniote eggs that they lay, okay, they possess what? A shell. Possesses a shell membrane, also an embryonic membrane. And the egg of a bird is surrounded by yolk. This yolk is made of mainly fats. Okay, also surrounded by what? By albumen. All right, it also has what? Membranes, and also has what? Shells. Okay, as it passes outside. Okay, so this is what components of what? Of the egg of what? Of a bird. The egg of a bird contains the yolk, made of mainly fat, the albumen, the membranes, and the shells. As it passes what? As it is what? Dropping it, removing it from the body. No, they lay their eggs on the what? On dry land. The yolk is also suspended at the middle of the albumen by the chalazae. Okay, the yolk is suspended. Is suspended at the middle of the albumen by what we call what? Chalazae. Okay, chalazae. The yolk is suspended at the middle of what? Of the albumen by what? By chalazae. If you look at the egg of a fowl, of a domestic fowl, okay, it has something like this. Okay, then this is chalazae we're talking about. Okay, then we now have this. Then you now have what? This thing here. Okay, this one is the chalazae we are talking about. Okay, it's suspended. The yolk is suspended at the middle of the albumen by what? By this chalazae. Okay, and this is the albumen itself. Okay, this one is what is the yolk. Here there's a free space, free air space. Okay, so that is that. This is just how the egg of a domestic fowl looks like. So this is that. What about what the birds? Okay, the birds they have what the yolk, okay, surrounded by the yolk, the albumen, the membranes, and the shell. And of course, like we have said, that the yolk is suspended at the middle of this albumen by what? By the chalazae. And the yolk and the albumen supply food and water. They supply food and water to the developing embryo. Okay, so that's what basically what happens in birds. Now let's also quickly talk about what metamorphosis. Okay, because of time, so that we do not waste too much time. Let's talk about metamorphosis. Please ensure you like this video. Download the O3 Schools app. Download it now. Whether you have 100 apps on your phone. I know why I'm telling you to download it immediately. Okay, you give your testimony. If you want to just see the testimonies of students, just go to search on YouTube O3 Schools app testimonies. You will see a lot of successes that have been registered, okay, by our users in the last year exam. Now let's talk about what metamorphosis in insect. Metamorphosis basically is a series of gradual changes. Okay, we define metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the series of gradual what changes that occur during the development, during the development of an animal from the zygote, which is the fertilized egg now, from the zygote, which we call the fertilized eggs to the adult. Okay, so this is what metamorphosis is. What it's about: series of gradual changes that occur in an animal. All right, during development of animal from the zygote, from the fertilized egg, all to the stage of what it being an adult. That's what we call what metamorphosis. Please know the definition. You can see it in your exam. You definitely see it in your past question. Okay, so it's the series of gradual changes that occur during the development of an animal from the zygote, which is the fertilized eggs, to the adult. Okay, so there are two main types of what metamorphosis you see in insects. One is called complete metamorphosis, and then number two is incomplete metamorphosis. Okay, so these are the two types of metamorphosis that you see or you find in what insect: complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Now, let's begin with incomplete metamorphosis. Now, for incomplete metamorphosis, we see them in insects like cockroach. Okay, we see them in insects like cockroach, incomplete cockroach. We see them in grasshopper. We see them in locusts. We see them in crickets also. Okay, you know the one they call praying mantis. All right, praying mantis. Okay, so sorry, mantis. So we see all of these insects: cockroaches, grasshopper, locusts, in crickets, in praying mantises, even lice. You can see it in lice. All right, lice. There are so many other examples. Now, what happens in incomplete metamorphosis is that the egg, EGG, the egg hatches into hatches into a nymph. Okay, so the egg hatches into what? A nymph. Okay, this nymph is what we call like a miniature adult. Okay, it hatches into a miniature a small adult. So this is what happens in incomplete metamorphosis, okay? So the egg hatches into what? A nymph, which is what? A miniature adult. And then from the nymph, okay, it now goes into the adult. Okay, from the nymph, it goes to to the adult. The adult is called the imago. Okay, then from the nymph now to what? To adult. Okay, this adult is also called imago. Okay, so this one is what we call incomplete metamorphosis. Okay, so from the egg, okay, to the to the nymph, and then from the nymph to the imago. Okay, so this is incomplete metamorphosis. The egg hatches into the nymph or miniature adult, and then from the nymph or miniature adult, it goes directly to to the imago after different series of molting. Molting. You know what molting is, right? It's also called ecdysis, okay, or ecdysis. Okay, it's a process whereby an insect, okay, or an arthropod sheds is exoskeleton, okay, or it removes the old one and then develops new one, all the way to an adult stage. Okay, that is molting process. Okay, so after different series of molting, it becomes a full mature adult. So from the egg to the nymph, from the nymph to the imago. Now let us now look at the complete metamorphosis. So what now happens in complete metamorphosis? Please like this video, subscribe, share. Okay, like, subscribe, and share. So what happens now in complete metamorphosis? Complete metamorphosis. Okay, so complete metamorphosis is the type of insect development that includes from eggs, okay, to the larva, from larva to pupa, from pupa to adults. Okay, so you could see that in the for the incomplete, we talk about from the eggs to the nymph, then to adult. There's no larva stage. Okay, so please take note of that. So for complete metamorphosis, the eggs, okay, to the larva, all right, where a lot of development happens, then to the pupa, to the adult stage. The adult is also called imago. When we're in primary school, we used to sing this song. Okay, for complete metamorphosis, we say egg to larva, larva to pupa, pupa to adult mosquito. Okay, and for complete metamorphosis, it is seen in insects like mosquito. You see them in mosquitoes. Okay, you see them in ants. You see them in butterflies. Okay, you see them in housefly, in bees. You see them in moths. You see them in moths. You see them in wasps. Okay, so you see them in all of these insects, from mosquitoes to ants to butterflies to houseflies to bees to moths to wasps. Okay, so it's a type of insect development where it goes from the egg to the larva, from the larva to the pupa, and then from the pupa to the adult insect there, which is the imago. Now the larva of different insects goes by different names. The larva, LA, this larva of different insects goes by different names. Like for mosquito now, it's called wriggler. It's known as the wriggler. Okay, then for butterflies, it's known as caterpillar. Okay, same with moths. It's also called caterpillar. So for butterfly and moth is caterpillar. All right, for ants and bees together, they are known as grub. Okay, while for housefly is known as maggots. Okay, so these are the names of different larvae for different insects. Okay, so please just note them down. Regular for mosquitoes, ants is grub, ants and bees is grub, caterpillar for butterflies, then housefly is what is called maggots. Now the pupa is known as as the resting stage. It's known as the resting stage. The pupa is the point where most of the development, okay, happen. A lot of development happens in what? In the pupa stage. So the pupa stage is very, very important, okay, in what? In the life cycle of a complete insect, okay. So for complete metamorphosis, eggs will go to larva, from larva to pupa, then pupa to adult. The pupa is the resting stage, and it is the part or the point where a lot of what or development what happens. Now in butterfly, the female butterfly will lay eggs, okay, on top of the young leaves of plants, on the upper surface of the young leaves of plants. Note that. And when they lay eggs, okay, what happens is that it hatches. It then what hatches to now form what? Caterpillar. It hatches to now form caterpillar. So this was basically what happened. Okay. Now for the body of a caterpillar is differentiated into three segments: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Okay, the body of a butterfly is differentiated into three segments: the head, okay, the body, okay, sorry, the head, the thorax, and then the abdomen. Okay, I'm already getting tired. So please, we just take note of what of complete and incomplete metamorphosis. So for incomplete, we have eggs to nymph, from nymph to adult. For complete, we have eggs to larva, larva to pupa, pupa to adult. Now, a structure known as osmitron, okay, is found on the caterpillar, okay, of the butterfly. It's found in the thorax, okay, it's found in the thorax, okay, of the caterpillar of a butterfly. And this osmitron is a defensive organ, okay. So whenever the caterpillar or whenever the butterfly feels threatened, okay, that's that's one of the most prominent things you see on the face of or on the structure, okay, on the face of the butterfly. So it helps to threaten. It uses to threaten whoever is coming to attack it. Okay, it makes it to look frightening. All right. So osmitron is on it's on the thorax. Okay, it's on the thorax, okay, and it's a shield for it's for defense. Okay, it's for defense against prey. Now the pupa of a butterfly is known as chrysalis. Okay, the pupa of a butterfly is known as chrysalis. Now let's quickly look at some terms that are used in sexual reproduction of animals. Some terms that are used in sexual reproduction of animals. Okay, so please, this is where we round up the class, and then we'll take questions. Okay, we have taken a lot of time, so let's round up the class. Okay, so please, for the final notes, ensure you download the O3 Schools app, okay, and use to answer questions. Okay, you will see how confident you are once you are done answering questions after studying a particular topic. It helps to build your confidence. Okay, download the application. Okay, activate it. Start on time. Okay, that's the best way to get very, very good score in JAMB. And the first one we'll look at is hermaphroditism. Hermaphroditism. You know what an hermaphrodite is now, okay? Organisms who exhibit this kind of thing is called, they are called hermaphrodites. They're called hermaphrodites, okay? So this is a situation. Hermaphroditism, please take note, it's a situation. Situation in which both ovaries and testes are present in one parent. They are present in one parent. Okay, so hermaphroditism, okay, is a situation in which both ovaries and testes, they are present in one parent, okay, and we'll call this kind of organism that exhibit this hermaphrodites. We call them hermaphrodites, okay, and we can see this in in earthworm. Okay, you can see them in earthworm. Okay, you can also see it in Hydra. Okay, so these are what typical examples of what of hermaphrodite. We talk about earthworm, so we talked about it also. Okay, it's a situation in which both ovaries and testes are present in one parent, and organisms that exhibit these are called hermaphrodites. Examples are earthworm and hydra. Now let us now look at another one called parthenogenesis. Okay, number 2, parthenogenesis. Okay, now this is the development. This is the development of diploid, D-I-P, diploid what egg, which has not yet been fertilized into a new individual. Okay, so that is called parthenogenesis. It's the development of diploid eggs which has not yet been fertilized into a new individual. Meaning that what? That a new organism develops from an unfertilized egg. Okay, that means that what? It develops without what? Without what? Male gamete. Develop without what? Male gamete. Okay, so that is that, or sperm. Okay, so it's a type of asexual reproduction. Okay, that is what parthenogenesis, development of diploid eggs which has not yet been fertilized into a new individual. Okay, so now that will now take us to the next one, which is what? Oviparous reproduction. Oviparous reproduction. Okay, and oviparous reproduction means what? Laying eggs. Okay, outside. Okay, we're talking about what? External fertilization now. All right, so oviparous reproduction involves laying eggs in which the embryo hatch outside the body. Embryo hatch outside the body, okay, of the parent. Okay, we see what this kind of oviparous reproduction in toads. We see them in toads. We see them in what? In some fishes and birds. Some fishes and what? And birds. Okay, so that's where we find what? Oviparous reproduction. Okay, it involves what? Laying eggs in which what? The embryo hatch outside the body of the parent. Toads, fishes, birds, okay, are good examples. Now that will take us to oviviparous reproduction. This is ovi. Okay, this is oviviparous reproduction. Okay. Involves the fertilization, the nourishment, and the development of what? Of eggs inside the body of what? Of the mother. Okay, inside, this one is inside the body of the mother without placenta. Okay, this happens without placenta and hatch before or soon after laying the eggs. Okay, so this is what oviviparous reproduction. It involves the fertilization, the development, the nourishment of the eggs inside the body of the mother without what? Placenta. Okay, and then the egg, it will hatch before or just soon after what? The mother what? Lays the egg. So you must understand the difference between oviparous and oviviparous. Okay, and do not confuse them. So for oviparous, involve laying eggs in which what? The embryo hatch outside the body. External fertilization is happening. Okay, but oviparous, okay, it's internal what? Fertilization. All right, but of course, immediately what? The mother what? Releases this egg, they hatch, or it may even hatch before what? Then. While the last one is called viviparous reproduction. Viviparous reproduction. Okay, so we have oviparous, We have oviviparous, oviparous, viviparous reproduction. Okay, so this one for viviparous reproduction, it includes what the nourishment, the development, okay, of what, of the egg inside the body of the mother with placenta. Okay, with placenta. And examples of placenta mammals are goat, sheep, cow. Goat, sheep, cow. Okay, so the difference between oviparous and viviparous, okay, is what basically what this was placenta. So viviparous, the mother, it's the development of what, of the eggs, okay, the development, the nourishment, okay, of what, of the egg inside the body of the mother, okay, and what it has to be done what, through what, the placenta, okay, and it happens, it occurs in what, in goat, sheep, and cow. That is what viviparous reproduction. Please take note of what all of what these terms, they were not important, I would have told you so. So quickly, because of time, let us look go to the app, answer questions, and then we are out of here. Okay, so now we're given a 2020 question number 37 from the app. You answer the question. They say cat, frog, bird, fish. Oviparity is the type of fertilization exhibited by oviparity. Okay, oviparous. Oviparity is what? Exhibited by what? A says IV, is it cat? Okay, is it fish rather? B says I, is it bird? C says I, is it frog? D says what? I, is it cat? So tell me the correct answer in the comment section. Okay, now 2014 okay, let's look at 2024 first, number 35. It says, which term best describes the image shown? Okay, the image is being shown on the screen right now. Okay, so I'm from the egg. Okay, we are going to do to the larva, from the larva to the pupa, pupa to adult butterfly. Okay, what process? Is it not? Is it the food web? Is it the life cycle? Is it the food chain? Is it the water cycle? Okay, tell me the correct answer in the comment section. 2023 number 29 says, metamorphosis is a biological process that involves A says the transformation of an organism from an adult stage to larval stage. B says the growth and development of an organism from a zygote to an adult. C says the regeneration of the lost body part in an organism. D says the change in form, in structure during the life cycle of certain organisms. Okay, tell me the correct answer in the comment section. All right, is it B or is it D? Be very careful. Okay, now 2015 number 19 says, which of the following is common to the mosquito, housefly, and black fly? A says they are parasites of man. B says their immature stages are aquatic. C says they undergo complete metamorphosis. D says their adults have 2 pairs of wings. Okay, please tell me the correct answer in the comment section. 1997 number 9 says, the group of insects that undergo complete metamorphosis is A says house flies, beetles, and cockroaches. B says cockroaches, grasshoppers, and bees. C says houseflies, beetles, and butterflies. D says aphids, grasshopper, and butterflies. Tell me the correct answer in the comment section. 2014 number 41 says, when the adults have reached a certain degree of weakness, the process of binary fission is replaced by conjugation in A says euglena, B says amoeba, C says plasmodium, D says paramecium. Tell me the correct answer in the comment section. All right, so this is where we're going to what? Stop. Okay, please ensure you download the application, start practicing your way to success. Okay, pass your exam at once. Wish you all the best. I'll see you in the next class.